We are doing something that I have not done on this channel or any other channel. It's an unboxing. Well, let's do an unboxing. If you saw the title, you know what this is. We'll go more into that later. So let's see how well this has been packed. I'm always interested in how people pack things. Ooh. I feel like I should be on a picnic. Single box. Lots of bubble wrap. This thing has some weight to it because it has batteries in it. I'll show you that here in a second. See if it survived. We'll see if the tubes are still plugged in. This does have 4 tubes in it. Ooh. Genuine top green cowhide. Cowhide. This came from a collector. This is in pretty nice condition. Very nice condition. A little wear down here, no big deal. I can hear the switch clicking, so hopefully the switch is not broken. This unit does not power up. It is dead. 4 tubes. Alright, we'll have to get more into this. This thing's got some weight to it. We'll have to get into this and see what we can see. So here we have a 1956 Zenith Carousel, model number Z404-L, and the chassis is a Force Z401 chassis. This came from a collector and it runs on AC and also battery. And the batteries are still in here. So let's pop it open. Oh, that was nice of him. Very well packed. All the tubes are still there. We'll go more into detail and everything else. So we have the power cord. It looks original. Ever-ready power cells. You don't see these anymore. And back in the day, they didn't use alkaline. Nowadays, we use alkaline. That's why they leak all over the place. This is a unboxing and visual inspection video, just so you know. And I am not an expert on any of these radios. I know I restored the Zenith console radio, so I'm learning as I go. And I just really love old stuff now. These are 1 filament, 1 volt filament tubes, and there's a 3 volt filament tube, probably because it runs on batteries. I don't know which is who. Does not power on. Seven and a half volts, 90 volts. And we know that those are probably completely dead. I don't care about those. And come off the tripod there and kind of do more of a better visual inspection on this beautiful top grain. I almost said top grade. Cowhide. How many cows do you think it took? I love the stitching on it though. I think these are kind of rare, and especially in this condition. Unsure if these tubes are even working. This looks like the transformer, the volume pot and switch. I do have a schematic on this, and the schematic reflects that it was 1957. This radio is listed as 1956. So it's somewhere around there. The 50s. Back when people used to go to drive-ins and carry these around like little boom boxes. It looks like it has a magnet, not a fuel coil. And then I'm assuming that's the bar antenna. This is AM broadcast only, so there's no shortwave. It's got 2 IF transformers. There's your audio output transformer way down there. So yeah, we're going to have to pull this out of here and see what we can see. I'm sure there's all kinds of stuff under here that needs to be replaced. Like I said, it does not power on. And there's supposed to be a switch somewhere that will switch it from battery to AC. I really don't know where that switch is. We'll have to see. So anyway, there it is in its glory. As you can see, the plug is totally UL listed. That's completely safe. You can leave it plugged in and leave your house and not worry about this thing burning your house down. The power cord does not look in bad condition. There's no breaks in it. That's good. Another thing really quick is I want to see what's going on in there. And the chassis comes out with these 2 screws. It's connected to the, I guess that would be a ferrite antenna, maybe not even a ferrite antenna, I don't know what that is, some sort of a antenna that's attached to the chassis. And I gotta figure out how to get the speaker out. We are gonna be bringing this up, even though someone probably already plugged it in. You guessed it, our dim bulb. So It's in really nice condition. It really is. It doesn't smell like cigarettes. It has a nice, genuine top grain cowhide smell for her pleasure. So yeah, we'll be taking this chassis out of here and kind of, actually before I do that, I am going to bring it up on the dim bulb to see if we even have any filament voltage. One more thing that I noticed, so I pulled this cover off here, and there's a switch that switches from battery to AC. I have the schematic, but what I don't understand, and I read something online, is people can't find out how to switch that, and there's no way to turn that. Does that automatically turn when it detects battery or AC? It's spring loaded. Let's see if I can do this. One hand. So it's spring loaded. If I can get in here. But I can't move it, and I don't want to try to move it. You can kind of turn it. You can see it kind of wanting to turn in there, but it's spring. I don't want to force it, so I don't know if this is an automatic thing or what this is. I got to pull this out of here and see what's going on. It's kind of strange. So it could be a switch issue. And the first thing I'm going to do, like I said, is bring this up on the Variac before I pull the chassis out of here and see if I get any filament voltage. But I just thought I'd share this because I've never seen anything like this. And I'm sure these are dead. I'll meter them, but it's got these unique little plug thingies in there. We're going to power this up. I'm sure it's not going to do anything, but we have the dim bulb. Let's bring this over here too. Where are you? Nope. Watts. I want to see if there's any filament voltage. Probably not going to get any because of things. When I first bring this up, it starts out on 3.1 watts and it's dropping. Of course, that's not even lighting up. Kill the overhead light. I'm not seeing any filament voltage, and I don't even know if I could even see filament voltage because these are 1 volt, 1 volt, 1 volt, 3 volts. I got to figure out what these are. This has been replaced with an RCA. These are all Zenith. But I got to pull this thing out of here to see what's going on under this. Nothing's smoking, so that's good. So we'll go ahead and pull this chassis out and take a closer look to see what's going on in here. But yeah, we should be back down to nothing, and we are. Storm action. So we got the batteries out, we got the chassis out, there's the speaker. It's in pretty good condition. Alright, chassis. So I hate these. Stuffed can full of 3 capacitors, and I'm sure one or all of them are bad. But let's get to the real nitty-gritty here. So we look up under here. This is hard to do with one hand. And look at this goodness. Now these disc capacitors don't normally go bad. Normally. These waxy paper things always go bad. Always. So we got to check some capacitors and see what's going on with this. But I don't see any like spider web. I don't know what that is. This thing right here. I may even have some of these from the leftover stuff from that other Zenith radio. And these resistors here, who knows? Probably check some voltages. And this, so check this out. Here's the other side of that switch. And there's no way to really control that switch. I think that switch is controlled with maybe some sort of a solenoid. I don't know. Hopefully the switch is back in the position for AC operation, because I am not running this on batteries, especially, well, you can't find these batteries anymore. Where are you going to find this battery? And if you did, they would be bad. So yeah, that's where we're at. For Z404-L. So yeah, we're just going to have to kind of go through this and see what we can see. Fun stuff, right? Alright, so I forgot where I left off with this thing. I can't stand these. There's 3 capacitors in there. I believe the 200 microfarad is probably open. And I was able to, let's see here, get this back off of here with one hand, if I can do it. Alright, stand by. This is definitely open. These two are added tolerance. Big surprise there. And I think I may have already showed this, and if I did, then I'll just delete this portion of this video. But yeah, we're just gonna take our time and go through this. The speaker works. I tested it in the little case, so that's working good. But right now we're kind of being done with this little project here. I may just cut this open if I got to get in here and replace anything. I'm pretty sure that 200 is probably bad. There's no filament voltage whatsoever. Even if I took it, even when I took it off the dim bulb tester, there's nothing. So I'll have to see what's going on with this. Alright, day 2. I checked power switch. Here's some sort of a line resistor. Check that. That's not open. I need to pull this can off and expose the 3 electrolytics. I think there are 3. There might be 1, but there's 3 capacitors in here. So the next step is to pry this off so I can get to those capacitors, and then check those. And remove these 2 tubes to get them out of the way. I don't want to break anything. And what else did I do? I put this back together. There was a screw missing. I replaced the screw. Everything so far looks good under here. We're going to start with these And there's 3 more waxy paper capacitors down here that you've probably seen in the other video that we're going to see what happens after I figure out this. That's where we're at. I'm not going to show you the boring details of getting this off. This is made out of some sort of cardboard, so I should be able to pry this off and not damage it. I guess we'll find out, right? So this was a pain in the ass. Not only did I have to remove this, I had to cut off this with a Dremel and a cutoff wheel. And there's your capacitors. Now, what condition are these capacitors? They're metering all over the place. One of them I think is open. So, yes, I'm going to have to replace these with new ones. They go right here. And we'll figure this is going away. I don't know what we're going to do about this. I don't really care. But if you ever see one of these, look forward to that job. I'm sure there's other ways of doing this. I've seen this done lots of times. They just cut the can open. Usually there's like 3 capacitors that are stuffed in there that look like capacitors. I don't know what all this is. I cannot get this out of here. And nor do I care. I don't know where I left off. It's been a week since I was working on this, and I was able to get 6 capacitors, 3 to replace this thing, and I got 3 more to replace those waxy paper ones. We're going to start with the electrolytics first. Unfortunately, they won't fit in this. I wanted to keep it original, but we're going to have to come up with something else. They will not fit in there. They're just too big. So this is not the ideal way to do this. But what I'm going to do is install this, dress it up the best I can, and find something to maybe put over the top of it to make it prettier than this. I got to drill some holes to run the pass-through wires through to the back side. Like I said, this is not ideal, but these will not fit in that little paper, cardboard, whatever tubey thing it is. And so yeah, we'll put these in, we'll bring it up on full line voltage with a watt meter and see what happens. This is the next day, so we are going to solder this conglomeration into the chassis. I was able to figure out where each capacitor goes because of this little thingy right here called a schematic. The 200 has to go where the 200 goes. The other 2 are just 280s, 80 microfarads, so it doesn't really make a difference. I did replace a 60 with an 80, which should work just fine. Then after we do a power up and see what happens, that's the key sentence, we're going to replace these. I want to do this in sections. First the electrolytics, then these. And we'll see what happens. I'm going to keep on saying, we'll see what happens. So, moment of truth. We're going to see what happens. I don't know what's going to happen. You can see smoke. You can see an explosion. You can see nothing. You can see worky. Hopefully we see worky. I don't know. I do have a watt meter over here. So, we're doing this together. I have not turned this on yet. And of course Amazon just showed up. Alright, Here we go. I do not like that. I see no filament anywhere. No working. No working. Alright, let's move on. I guess we'll replace those other 3 capacitors. We got the 3 new capacitors in, and interesting, when I was replacing this one, I got a little teeny tiny bit of a tingle, and I heard crackling out of the speaker in there. Which I'm assuming that's a good thing, right? So now, we still have our meter over here, and we're going to turn it on and see what happens. Ugh. Stay where I put you. Very interesting. I thought we'd get something out of here. I wonder if this switch is in the right position. So this is probably a week later. I ordered 4 new tubes. I hope I didn't get that on the camera. And let's see how well this has been packaged. I'm going to have to use 2 hands. Stand by. Ooh. Invoice. I don't hear any glass rattling around. That's good. Huh. They're all different. Alright, after doing all kinds of stuff to this, including checking this weird switch that I don't even know how you can even turn it. And of course, as soon as I start making a video, my OCD neighbor Alright, so we have figured out some stuff on this radio here. The selenium rectifier is good. It is converting AC to DC. This R2 resistor is good. It's 180 ohms and it's reading 183 ohms, I believe. All the filaments are good. This is a whole new set of tubes, and this is a series string set. If you don't know what that means the filaments are run in series. I can't imagine this one being run in series because this is a 3 volt. These are all 1 volt. And like I said, I replaced 6 capacitors. This right here is wide open. This is a sand resistor, what's known as a sand resistor, I believe. It's supposed to be 1750 ohms. It's wide open. I was able to order one for a pretty good price if it's focused. So I bought that for what, $7 free shipping. So we got that going on. A couple days I should get it. And hopefully we start hearing some sound. I can't imagine anything else really being wrong. The resistors all checked not open. These disc capacitors rarely go bad, like I said before. So now it's another waiting game, waiting for Mr. Resistor. So this is the weirdest thing. I'm trying to figure out why this thing wasn't working, and I got a new power resistor for it. The other one was bad, and it is this one right here. But I still wasn't getting any sound. The unit was drawing like 6.4 watts, and these resistors were getting really, really hot, and they still are for some reason. I have no idea. So I put the original, 2 of the original tubes back in, which is the 3, let's see here, the 3V4 and the 1U5, the original ones, back in here. And I don't know if this is just undersized or what. This is a brand new 1750 ohm resistor. However, didn't give the wattage rating on it. It's supposed to be 5 watt. That looks more like a 8 watt, 10 watt to me. So I don't know. That resistor is good. I still don't know why this is getting hot. But however, and by the way, this tube, the reason I replaced this tube was because it was microphonic, which means that, you know, you tap on it, dunk, 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 dunk. When I did that,
today. This hour of talk is brought to you by Empower Home Team, Keller Williams Elite Partners Realty.
Hi, Grandma. What's for dinner? Hey, honey, I'm making stew tonight. Oh, can you come over?
However, these are still getting really hot. And I have no idea. Both of these are getting like to the point where you can't even barely touch them because they're getting so hot. I knew they're supposed to get a little bit warm, but not that hot. So I'm still tracing that down. But
about it now before someone tries to give her alcohol. If anyone ever does offer you a drink, I want you to say no.
We got sound. Yay. There's all the new capacitors, electrolytics. And we got to figure out what's going on with this. Alright, we're close to wrapping this up. And sorry that these videos don't show every bit of work that I do. But this is a small little tiny project, and it is what it is. So we have replaced these power resistors, that one, these. This one used to be in here. This is known as a brown devil, but it was too big and it was covering up this hole. That's where one of the mounting screws go, and we don't want to put a screw in that. That would not be a good day. So these resistors, if you're not familiar with these run very hot. These are wire wound resistors. Yes, you can see through them, and they get very hot. I think this one was running around 200 degrees Fahrenheit, which is normal. Some of them run about 300 to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. So what we're going to do here is a little bit of a test. Always make sure you have one of these. It helps. So
Conservatives. This is outright anti-Christian, anti-Catholic bias that is being admitted on
anti-Christian.
And I want to just, for a second, let's extrapolate this.
This is just what is being caught on camera. How many school districts? How many hiring managers?
So we're going to do some tests before I even put this back together again, but as you can see,
these views that we're not able to get on camera, for every one, there's probably another 5,000
we're already at
people in
140
leadership
degrees.
that are actively discriminating against Christians and Catholics.
And this one here.
Let's play cut 40.
So then what do you do with the Catholics? Did you find out some of the Catholics?
You can see how they're getting hot.
Religions tend to be more
What the hell are we listening to here? We're at 180 degrees.
Now, I know that's hard to hear. There's a lot of background. I was in a cafe, but this is the assistant elementary school principal.
So yes, they do get warm.
If they find out they have a Christian or Catholic,
there's a little heat shield underneath here.
So this is happening,
which indicates that these get hot. I would not touch these right now. They're too hot. So we're going to wrap this up. The next video you see is going to be it back in its little case. And that's going to be pretty much it. You know what's funny about this? I think I mentioned this before. It does show the value 1750, but there's nothing on here that indicates what the wattage is. This one here is rated at 8 watts, 1750, which is higher value than what the schematic calls for as far as the wattage. This one here is rated at 5 watts. This is a 180 ohm resistor, and what the schematic calls for is a 4 watt resistor. So those are the only two resistors that get warm. This one here doesn't even do nothing. You can see the heat has kind of discolored that disc capacitor there. So anywho, we're going to wrap this project up, and it's going to be a shelf clean. Alright, here it is assembled. We're done. We are done with this radio. This actually came out really nice. This thing is in really nice shape. The batteries are dead. So I figured out this about the batteries. This is a 90 volt battery. This runs the radio. This is a 7.5 volt battery, and that is probably for the filaments, because this is a series string set. We have a 3 volt, 1 volt, 1 volt, 1 volt. That's 6 volts. That's my best guess. So let's turn it on and check it out. I would go through the bands for the band, but it's hard to get AM in here, so it is what it is, but it works. And it does pick up about 4 or 5 stations, so depending of course where the radio is. It's got a small bar antenna up here, you've seen that in the teardown. So yeah, we're done. That's it. Thanks for watching this video, and this is going to probably be a shelf clean most of its life as a conversation piece. Oh yeah, by the way, this does work. You want to hear it? Click, click, back on the shelf.